So when working in the lab, you must wear full PPE, and that must be a lab coat and latex gloves. Each lab practical will have a risk assessment and COSH paperwork, which includes the chemicals in use. All this paperwork is found online, and if you ever have any doubts, the lab practicals are supervised by members of lecturing staff, and you must ask questions if you ever have any doubts or any questions you may need answering. In this tutorial, we are going to go through the Superglue fingerprint treatment technique. And this treatment, this fingerprint treatment, is really good for non-porous items. So for example, plastic, non-porous surfaces, and also a good contrast between like dark and light plastic material. Kind of the most common items for this treatment are like plastic carrier bags. The one we have at UCLan has a smaller superglue cabinet, but in the police and other forensic treatment sites, you can actually put really large items such as a car in like a superglue kind of tent. So we actually just use normal superglue, anything which you do like crafts with or fix any items. So it's just normal superglue. We put this into the cabinet. This is a good treatment to follow up using the basic yellow staining, because the superglue treatment kind of coats things like a white in colour, and this staining helps turning the white superglue content into yellow, and it just helps you get that nice contrast between light, like white and yellow, and then you've got white and black. It just gives you that nice contrast to able to identify and enhance fingerprints. So this is our superglue cabinet, and this is, I'm going to do a step-by-step process of how to actually operate it. If you ever get stuck, next to the superglue cabinet is a kind of step-by-step procedure as well to help you kind of work this machine. So there's an on button at the top, a green button, just make sure it's on, and then the lights inside will light up to show that it's working. And here is this black, you just turn it around and it opens the door. Within the superglue cabinet, you have a humidifier and a heating plate, and also you have like things to kind of hang your exhibits up to keep them kind of like in the air basically. And at the top right corner, you have like the control panel. So the first thing you need to check before you kind of like turn the machine on to operate the superglue is to make sure that the humidifier is topped up with water. So next to this superglue cabinet is just a normal plastic container. Fill it with just normal water from the tap and just fill it up, and there is kind of like a line just to the actual container to say it's reached the top off, it's full of water. Place the lid on top. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to get on. Have a little play around with it until it falls into place. So the water's full now, ready to go. Next to the cabinet, you see these little like metal foil containers, and this is where we dispense the superglue. So here we have our superglue. Turn the lid, take the lid off, and what you want to do is place probably between 10 to 15 drops of superglue. So superglue is like a liquid format. Make sure the whole surface area is covered, and you place this on the little black heating block in the cabinet. Now you're ready to put your evidence in the superglue cabinet. So here we have a plastic non-porous area item exhibit, and we basically hang it in the superglue cabinet. Just be careful if you've got tape. Hang them up quite equal spaces from each other so the tape doesn't kind of like stick together. You want a positive control, so you want to put your own fingerprints on there to see if the actual process has worked correctly. So you always have to have a positive control in the superglue cabinet. Then hang it up like so with the others. One thing good about fingerprint treatments is you can batch load it, so you can put other cases next to each other. So if you've got other people who want to carry out the same superglue cabinet treatment, you can have like up to, in this cabinet, probably about 30 different cases at one time. So once it's full and ready to go, close the door, turn the black handle, and it's no longer able to open. Really health and safety tip here is, once you've closed this door and you've pressed on in a second, no matter what happens, never open it unless you hear the beeper go off to say you're able to open the door. Superglue under heat creates cyanide gas. So it's a really health and safety, you must never open the door during the process. And the next stage is to kind of, it's quite high up, so you have to kind of maybe step on the safety stool, and on here it's touchscreen. So sometimes people can operate it with gloves on, but if you can't, you'll have to take your gloves off to operate it. But it works for me. So press a button, which is very easy to use. Start, continue, and then you have the main setting here. You can adjust the time. So you want to usually go for 30 minutes at 80% humidity. And then once these are set, it's simple as, there's a fingerprint there to say start. You press start. You can hear a little fan kick in, which what's happening now, it is creating the water vapour. And once it reaches an 80% humidity, it then starts heating the superglue. The superglue vapour combines with the water vapour, and if you've got fingerprints on your items, that vapour sits onto your fingerprint, thus identifying and enhancing a fingerprint. This takes 30 minutes. You must never open the door during the cycle, and you will be, a loud beeping noise will be at the end of the cycle in 30 minutes, which will then tell you then it's safe to open the cabinet. So as you can hear, the sensor here is telling us the 30-minute cycle is up. On the actual screen at the top it says purge cycle complete. That means that it's taken all the cyanide gas out of the cabinet, and now it says it is now safe to open the door. So we can open the door, you'll hear the fan turn off and the sensor turns off, and you are able to, I'd still wear gloves because we're still in the lab, but you are now able to retrieve your item. The first thing you want to do is to check your control has worked, your positive control. As you can see here, there's a fingerprint identified here. It's gone like a white in colour, and that's the superglue adhering to the fingerprint. And our actual item, so we can say safely this has worked properly because our positive control has come up. And now you look at our exhibit, and because it's a black item, you can really see some really nice friction ridge detail here, and fingerprints being enhanced front and back. And because it's a black item, you can go back and take some really nice photographs of this, scaled photographs. However, if the item wasn't black, there's another step we can use. It's called acid yellow 40, it's like a yellow dye, which would dye the white bits off the fingerprints and give you that nice contrast. So I'm happy the positive control is passed. We've got identifiable marks here. And that is the whole process. That is the superglue treatment process. Thank you for listening to the tutorials today. If you've got any questions about any technical detail or you'd like to speak to us, please contact the module leader, myself, Paul Langton, either on email or Teams, or just pop in, knock on the door and come and see me.